Welcome to Christine Bailey's Faith Over Fear.
Good evening, everyone. Glad to be here on this beautiful Thursday evening. And what a blessing it is to be alive on this beautiful day. I am Christine Bailey, and I am a child of God. Today, I would like to talk about ways to block our own blessings. Sometimes we get in our own way and we end up blocking a lot of blessings just by doing some of the most simplest things that a lot of times we don't even think about, that we may not be blocking our blessings, but in all actuality we are. So here are some of the ways that we do block our own blessings. And I like to say we because that means me included. I am no exemption to the rule. So it includes me as well. So we need to do whatever God has laid on our hearts to do. However, we are our own worst enemy. Procrastination that can delay or postpone, to put off doing something. We stand in our own way, but we always want to place the blame on someone else. So that is not being accountable. That is passing it off to someone else. And we can't do that. We have to be accountable for ourselves. As adults, each and every one of us have to be accountable for our own. In order to finish strong and complete the task, we must just do it. Stop procrastinating. Just do it. I tell my husband that all the time because my husband knows he is one of the biggest procrastinators. And I love him to death, bless his heart. But he can procrastinate about the simplest things. Like for Christmas, he'll wait until the very end to get Christmas to get Christmas gifts. And then he gets worried if the gifts are going to get delivered on time because he has waited so long. He has procrastinated to get those gifts sent out to the grandbabies. So yes, honey, procrastination. We must not procrastinate, okay? Then we have self-doubt. Self-doubt is a crippling emotion that leads to being stuck. There are times when we allow our minds to overthink and failure begins creeping in. And we all know what happens when failure starts to creep in. We know that that is the enemy. Failure equals enemy, okay? So we must stop thinking about what others will think of us. And more importantly, we should be more concerned about ourselves. Stop focusing on how others think or how others perceive you. It is very important of how you see yourself. And I know because I used to be that person. I used to always doubt myself. The way I dressed, the way I looked, the way that I talked in front of people. It was just a bad habit that I had about myself. So we need to take our own self inventory and then change what needs to be changed. Start working on what needs to be changed. Self worth. Work on your own self worth. Don't worry about anyone else. Worry about yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters is your own self worth. I think that is very, very important. Now, ways to overcome self-doubt. A, recognize what you are good at. Don't downplay it. Recognize it. Be proud of that. Be proud of that for yourself. Build positive relationships is another good thing. Be kind to yourself. Always be kind to yourself. Even when you don't think you deserve it, you do. So start being kind to yourself. Challenge yourself daily. That's something I'm learning to do, is to challenge myself daily on the things that I need to work on for me, not for my husband, not for our children, but for me. Rebuke the devil by changing your mindset. We must change our mindsets, people, because we are giving the enemy too much power. He does not need that much power. He doesn't need no power at all. And he only has that power if we give it to him. So we're the ones that's opening the doors. Stop opening those doors to the enemy. Keep those doors closed between you and God. It can be done. I'm a living testimony. It can be done. Confess it out loud until you believe it yourself every day. Say it even when you don't believe it. Keep saying it. Keep speaking life into your life. Speak it out loud. Speak it as you walk through your house, as you drive to work, wherever you're at. Speak it to yourself. Because guess what? We deserve it. Each and every one of us deserves it. Christ said so. So we do deserve it. Fear is the roadblock preventing us to having the life God wants us to have. So we can't have fear and God in the same field. It doesn't work. That's like having faith and doubt in the same field. You know, me and my sister-in-law was talking about that earlier. And I said, I don't believe that can be. How can that be? How can you say that you have faith, but then you also have doubt at the same time? I just, I remember there was a time when I was in doubt, but that's when I did not have faith in my life. So now that I have faith in my life, it's like I just don't see how that can be. You can't plant faith and doubt in the same field because they're going to overlap one another. Because you have the kingdom of God versus the kingdom of darkness, the kingdom of evil, and they fight against one another. So think about it. How can that be? That cannot be. And then my favorite one that I'm going to talk about tonight is pride. Not admitting our faults or wrongdoing prevents us from returning and keeping going when we fail. We have to get rid of the pride. It's a lot of prideful people out there, and I'm telling you, that is a sin. That one will block your blessing because it blocks God. It takes God all the way out of the game. So, in Proverbs 24:16 says, the righteous may fall 7 times, but still get back up. But the wicked will stumble into trouble. Guess what? Pride is a grievous sin. Being aware of pride is vital because it hinders our relationship with God. And that is a known fact. There are different types of pride. There is self exaltation. That's where pride gives credit to himself. God reminds us that every good things come from him. That's James 1:16 and 17. Jesus also warns that God will humble those who exalt themselves. That's found in Matthew 23:12. Then we have self promotion. Pride welcomes credit from others. We must be very careful not to use our righteousness before others to be seen by them. Matthew 1 6 1 and 2 says, we never want to promote ourselves. We are supposed to promote God, not ourselves. For example, I had a doctor's appointment on yesterday, and I had been dealing with weight loss for a while. And when I started my weight loss journey, I was over 200 pounds. I was like 225 pounds. And so, with the doctor that God put in my path, who is also a believer, and I tell you what, it helps when you have a doctor that is a believer. She knows exactly where you're coming from. So, when I was telling her that I'm a spiritual person, that I am a believer, and she asked me yesterday, she said, oh my God, look at you. How did you lose your weight? And I said, I'm a spiritual person. I said, but I also had to change my mindset. So I had to be more aware of what I was putting into my body, because our body is our temple, and so we can't just put anything and everything into our bodies. And not only that, I thought about my heart attack that I had several years prior as well, not wanting to go through that again. Because when you eat unhealthy, stuff like that happens. And so I wanted to be very aware of what I was putting into my body, along with the medication that the doctor had put me on, the new medication. And so, I was blessed. I'm blessed to say that my goal was 150 pounds. And now I'm down to 152 pounds. And, I was in the doctor's office doing like this, giving God all the glory, because it's like it wasn't me, it was God through me. So I had to give that glory back to God, not to myself. I didn't walk in there and say, girl, look what I done. No, it was, look what God has done for me. So, we have to be very careful about that, because in everything, and everything goes back to God. Everything that we have, everything that we own, everything that we do, even the breath that we breathe, that's all God. That's none of us. That's not the orbit. That's not, it is all G, capital God. God. That's who that is. Okay, now Christ's death is the only reason we avoid God's anger, punishment, and judgment. He is the one who bore our guilt. So think about that. Christ on that cross for each and every one of us. That's why he said, it's done. It's done. It's finished. So we have to forgive ourselves. God has already forgiven us. So now we need to learn how to forgive ourselves and stop letting Satan play these mind games and getting into our minds. We need to change our mindsets, and we shift our focus and put our focus on the one who hung on that cross for our sins, because he didn't do anything wrong. It was all us. So we need to think about that. Stop giving Satan power. That dirty scoundrel does not deserve nobody's power, none whatsoever. The belief that we can earn God's approval through our actions is a deadly form of pride. God is looking for the spiritually destitute and has nothing to offer. We come to God, we need to come to God begging for grace that we do not deserve. Matthew 5:3. You know, I heard someone say that God calls, God doesn't call the qualified, God calls the disqualified. And that is true when you stop and think about it, because I know for a fact that I am nowhere near qualified. I fall in that disqualified crowd, and glad to be in that crowd because I'm glad that God seen something in me that man didn't see, that I didn't even see. So I thank God daily for his grace and for his mercy. I thank God for who he is in my life, the head of my life. I thank God that he is all around me all day, every day. And that is very, very important that we recognize God on the daily. You know, I don't understand how people can get up in the mornings and start their day without even thanking God. They just, go about their business just like it was them that woke themselves up that morning. And it was God. Because just like that, God can take your life. But just like that, God can also give you your life. I'm a living testimony. I am the disqualified and proud to be. Then we have self degradation. Pride tears himself down. When we tear ourselves down, we become self absorbed. We focus on our own selves, preoccupied with our own selves, and we forget about everyone else around us. We even forget about God because it's poor me, poor me. Then that's where the pity party comes in at. And instead of rejoicing in the success of others and trusting God's sovereignty, a person will focus on themselves. So we can never degrade ourselves. Never degrade yourself. Because you know what? We're going to have failures. That's just life. So you might as well get ready for it because not everything is going to be a success. And I truly believe not everything is supposed to be a success. I think failures blesses us and it keeps you humble and it keeps you full of gratitude. But my past failures has made me want to push on. It hasn't made me want to stop. It hasn't made me want to give in. It makes me want to keep going because I know I'm better. I'm better. God has made me better. And when you're of God, you know that you are better, regardless of what other people say, other people think, how people look at you, how people define you. You know. That's why it is absolutely vital that you have your own personal relationship with God. That's very important. Everyone needs their own personal relationship with God because you can't make it without him. I someone reached out to me and told me that they lived their life just fine without God. And I thought to myself, God bless you because it's all in your mind. Because just like that, you could be gone. Thinking, having that type of attitude, that type of mindset. See, when you have a fixed mindset, it will not get you anywhere. A closed mindset will not get you anywhere. You have to be open minded. You have to be willing and ready at all times to receive what God has for you. Because what God has for you may not be for me. And what He has for me may not be for you. That's what makes us so different. But that's what makes us all able to come together and to be able to love on one another, to collaborate together, and so it's okay because my blessings are not your blessings, and your blessings are not my blessings. And that's okay because at the end of the day, we can still love one another. That's what it's all about. And then we have self demotion. Pride compares himself to others. You degrade yourself privately or publicly. You convince others that you are less or you have less, creating a pity party. Self pity doesn't look like pride and it seems needy to others, coming from a sense of unrecognized worthiness, is just another form of self promotion. Do not, do not tell anyone that you are less than. Do not tell anyone that they are greater than you. Do not do that. Don't do that. If you are a child of God, if you are a believer, non believer, if you're doing that, stop doing that. Don't do that because all of us has our own unique qualities about ourselves. Everyone is different. Everyone has their own ministry. Whether it's in the nursing field, whether it's firefighter, policeman, pastor, everyone's ministry is different. But at the end of it, the common denominator or the two common denominators is service to others, because all of those are service to others, and then God is the common denominator. He's the main denominator of it all. So stop doing that, people. Give yourself more credit because you deserve it. We all deserve it. We're all blessed and highly favored by the Most High God. Self condemnation. Pride judges himself. Now, this pride is private and it manifests itself in times of personal failure. That's when you have to watch your back. Because I tell you, that's when you say Satan is right at your door knocking, this one right here, right at your door knocking, to fill your head with lies. It doesn't seek affirmation, approval, admiration of others. It happens when one's standards have not been met. But guess who's the person who can change that standard? You. You're capable. You're well capable of changing your standard. And I say start with the little things. Start with the things that's within your reach, that's within your grasp. Don't try to reach for stuff that's out of your means, out of your scope. Do the possible, and I always say this, do the possible and let God worry about the impossible. So don't overextend yourselves. Don't do that. I've done that before. Everything that I'm talking about is everything that I've been through myself. And so when I seen this, and I was like, oh gosh, I want to share this with everyone because that's what it's about. When you go through and your God blesses you to overcome it, we should be able to share with others. We shouldn't be selfish and sit on things. That's part of our service work. It's part of being a believer. It's part of being a child of God, being able to share, whether it's with another believer, a non believer, it doesn't matter. Share it anyway. It doesn't cost anything. You know what? It doesn't cost me anything to do this. And I can even say it doesn't even cost me my time because I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I love doing what I'm doing on my podcast, whether I get 5 people watching me or just me talking to the public, myself, and no one on here, because I want to share with others what I have been through. And all of this is part of my story, it's part of my experience, it's part of my life that I have had to live, but God has brought me through it. So I want to share it with you. I want to share it with everyone. So if it makes me vulnerable, okay, then I'll be vulnerable. But I love it. And I love you guys as well. Just thought you should know that. I thought I'd throw that in there on you this Thursday. Okay. Uh, and also, it also makes himself or herself judge over God. And that's something we do not want to do, is pretend that we can be judged over God. There is no one in heaven, there is no one on the earth or in hell that can be judged over God. So please don't do that. Don't do that. So humble yourself instead of judgment and beg for God's mercy. Titus 3, verses 3 through 6. Never condemn yourself. And then ask yourself these questions. Do I exalt myself? Do I promote myself? Do I justify myself? Do I degrade myself? Do I demote myself? Do I condemn myself? I think all of us have answered those questions to ourselves. Yes, we have. In some way, form, or fashion, we are all guilty of this. Past, present, future. Hopefully not future, but past. We have. So if yes to any of these questions, we're going to replace that pride with God's glory to receive your blessings. Because we all want to be blessed. Unbelief. James 1:8. A double minded man is unstable in all his ways. So we must remain constant in belief, no matter what's going on in our life. There's no room for unbelief. So we can't do that. Recognizing this will help restore faith in areas that we may be struggling in. Example, loving the wrong things. Like I said, I used to be 225 pounds, and that was from not only me loving to eat, but loving to eat the wrong foods, loving the wrong things. So we don't want to do that. And another one of my favorites, it used to be one of my favorites. No longer, it's the opposite. Unforgiveness. Mark 11:25. Forgiveness is essential, not only because it is a command from God, but also for our well being. Unforgiveness ties you to that person emotionally as long as you carry that grudge. Think of it as a scab that is stopping your healing process. Unforgiveness will block blessings in a heartbeat. I'm a witness to that. I dealt with that. I had a lot of unforgiveness several years ago that I am so glad that God delivered me from, because it was literally killing me. And I don't mean that in a funny type of way. Literally, it almost ended me. So I'm telling you, if you're carrying any type of unforgiveness, get rid of it. Get rid of it, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it to hold on to stuff that is unhealthy. It's unfulfilling. I don't care what Satan puts in your head, unforgiveness will kill you. Get rid of it. Negativity, negative thoughts become negative words. And we all know words have power. Negativity holds us captive and prevents us from receiving our blessings. You know, I've always been the type of person that is positive. Always. Always. Even going through even struggles. Positive. You know, and I used to have friends that would say, I don't understand how you can be so positive when certain things is going on around you. I just don't get it. And I was always that bubbly kid in school, that happy go kid in school. You know, I just couldn't understand how people could be so negative. Even when I was in school, it was like, oh, I don't want to be around you because you're negative. I don't like negative. I don't like being around negative people. You know, I'm the type of person that like to lift you up. So, if you're a negative person, if you're just having one of those days and you're having just negative thoughts at the yin yang, reach out to me. Reach out to me, because I am a positive person. I will pray for you. We will talk it out. And the next thing you know, you're gonna be laughing, and you're gonna be done forgot all about what had you in that foul mood. Because I can tell you, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And you know, being negative seems like it messes with your face and stuff in your mind, you know, and it puts wrinkles and stuff on you. So we don't want negative. You know, we want beauty. We want positive, smile, you know, because when you stop and think about it, at the end of the day, we have more to smile about than we have to be Debbie Downers about. We have so much going on in our lives to be thankful for at the end of the day. You know, I was thinking about this morning when I was having my time with God, how blessed we are in the United States as a whole. Because I think about the third world countries and what a lot of the other countries are going through. And I also thought about the people in California, a lot of people that lost their homes behind the fires, people lost their lives, lost their businesses, you know, and I thought about that, and I thought, you know, we are a blessed people. We're better than blessed, because I think of it as every day that God gives us strength and He wakes us up and you open your eyes. That's a blessing. That's something to be thankful for. Because that night, somebody lost their life. That night, somebody didn't get a chance to see another day. So instead of complaining, we need to be more thankful. We complain too much to God. We're not thanking God enough. We're not being more thankful for the little things. I was thinking about, just thankful just to have food, clothing, shelter. Thankful to have the activity of my limbs. Thankful that I'm able to see. I'm able to walk. I'm able to talk. Some people aren't that blessed. Think about those that are in the nursing homes. Think about those that are blind. Think about those who have cancer. And yet we complain about the little things. When was the last time that you thanked God? When was the last time you said, God, I just thank you? Not asking for anything, not wanting anything, just thanking Him for another day. You can't beat God's giving. You can't beat God's given people. You can't. And I know this may be kind of off course of what I'm talking about, but when you think about the goodness of God and all that He's done for you, I know for me, I don't care. I can bring it up any second, every minute of every hour. Because as I look around, I see something every day that I'm thankful for. Something that somebody does not have. Homeless. Think about the homeless. Think about those that are hungry. Right here in the United States, and you have a roof over your head. You have food. You have clothing. You know where you're going to lay your head at when you go to sleep at night. But they don't. Think about that the next time that you want to complain. Stop thinking if you expect the worst, you will not be disappointed if things do not turn out as you hoped. That is a fixed mindset. Life is much better with a positive mindset. We have to get rid of the negative. We have to let go of the negative. We've been in the negative too long. It's time to take our power back, people. It's time for you to take your families back. It's time for you to take your spouses back. It's time for you to take your children back. It's time for you to take your health back. It's time for you to take your finances back. It's time to take it back. Holding on to the past hinders your growth and your blessings. For example, holding on to a relationship that was not meant to be. God is trying to make room for the right one to come into your life. Think about that. Don't hold on to things. Let it go. I used to be one that tried to hold on to friendships. But then I learned that some people are in your life for a reason. Some are in your life for a season. And we have to know the ones. And God will show you. God will show you. And I have learned the ones that has stuck by me through thick and thin, that has been here for me through the good, the bad, the happy, the sad, the ups and the downs. That's a true friend. You know, you don't have many true friends. You have associates. At least I do. I have a lot of associates, but I don't have a lot of people in my friend circle. And it's a reason for that. And I thank God for that, because God knows best. Because God seen them coming a mile away when I didn't see them coming. He seen them coming, and he knew what they were all about. So I thank God for that. And the last one is guilt. Guilt is the devil's favorite tool. He loves to remind you of your past. Oh, he loves to bring up our past mistakes, especially when we're having a bad day or when we're having an off day. And you know, even as believers, we have those off days. I know I do. And it's amazing how I always say I can hear the enemy in my left ear and I hear God in my right ear. And I'm glad that I listen to the right side and not the left side. So that's what we have to learn how to do. Listen to that right side, not that left side. Listen to the right side. Like in church, we always say, you know, my bishop would say, put that good eye on it. And I used to tease my bishop about our eyes, you know, and about his driving. And I said, Bishop, did you have your good eye on that curve when you hit that curve? Or did you have your bad eye? So now the joke is make sure you put your good eye on that, you know. So put your good eye on it. You know, I say my right eye is my good eye. So put your good eye on it, you know. Uh Avoid the if only syndrome. Oh, if only I had done this. If only I had done that. That's Satan. That's all that is. That's Satan. Don't do the if only. Don't even go down that rabbit hole with Satan. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't open that door. Because if you give him just a little bit, if he can't fit in, his minions will fit in. So don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Nope. Guilt reminds us of who we were yesterday, not who we can be tomorrow. Guilt is the past. God is the future. God forgives us, but we must learn to forgive ourselves. We must learn from our mistakes and move on. Don't wallow in it. Don't have a pity party in it. Don't give Satan nothing. He's not worth it. He's not even worth the air that you breathe. He's not worth it because he's trying to take your life. So he's not worth it. Even the Bible says that. So why would you even want to be a part of that? If you have tried everything, now listen to this. If you have tried everything and nothing is working, I can't wrap my head around why you would not want to try God. If you have tried everything else, Satan's way, the enemy's way, why not try God? Why not? I'm just saying, why not try God? What is the fear in trying God? What is preventing you from trying God? What is preventing you from your blessings? Yourself. We're our own worst enemy. Don't do that. Don't do that. So now we will have a word from our sponsor, and I will be right back. Thank you.
God can heal, deliver, restore, and renew. When you take God out of it, you leave the door wide open for the enemy to come in. Mustard Seed Faith to Unshakable Faith and No God, No Peace by author Christine Bailey are available now on Amazon.
Thank you guys. Welcome back. Well, my name is Christine Bailey. My purpose is to give hope, bless, and inspire. I thank you all for joining me tonight. Have a blessed weekend, and until next week, take care. Love you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching Christine Bailey's Faith Over Fear. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next week.